The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in absolute chaos. Representatives from 12 different species spoke over each other in panicked voices, their translators struggling to keep up with the flood of terrified communications. High Chancellor Mordeth of the Council Presidium called for order, but his authority meant nothing now. The unthinkable had happened. A primitive species had not only defeated a combined fleet, but had done so with such overwhelming superiority that survivors were questioning everything they thought they knew about galactic hierarchy. "The humans have technology that shouldn't exist," reported Science Admiral Nexpre, his mechanical voice distorting with damaged circuits from his escape pod. "Their weapons phase through our shields like our defenses weren't even activated. Their ships move faster than our sensors can track. Their soldiers—" He paused, his artificial intelligence core struggling to process what he had witnessed. Their soldiers fought like they had been preparing for this exact war their entire lives. Commander Vex Thul, one of only 3 command-level survivors from the assault fleet, stood before the assembly with his crystalline exoskeleton cracked and dimmed. "Council members, we didn't just underestimate human technology. We fundamentally misunderstood the nature of their civilization." The holographic displays around the council chamber showed footage from the battle, recordings that each surviving alien had reviewed dozens of times without fully comprehending what they were seeing. Human ships moved with perfect coordination, their weapons fired with precision that suggested computer-guided targeting systems beyond anything the aliens possessed, and their tactics demonstrated strategic thinking that seemed to anticipate every possible alien response. Captain Yilthar's scales shifted continuously between colors as she relived her escape from the battle. "They weren't defending their planet," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "They were teaching us a lesson. Every move they made was calculated to demonstrate our inferiority." The council chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans hadn't just won a defensive battle, they had deliberately orchestrated a demonstration designed to show the galaxy exactly how outmatched every other species really was. Ambassador Kelthar from the Peaceful Federation raised a trembling appendage. "What about their offer of communication? Surely we can negotiate with them, explain that this was a misunderstanding?" Vex Thul's laugh was bitter and broken. "There is no negotiation. Admiral Chen made that very clear. She said humanity had been waiting for the galaxy to reveal its true nature. Now they know exactly what they're dealing with." The recordings showed the final moments of the battle, when Admiral Chen had appeared via quantum teleportation in the Council Fleet's command center. Her words echoed through the chamber now. "You came to enslave humanity because you believed might makes right. Now you know what happens when you encounter someone mightier." High Chancellor Mordeth struggled to maintain his composure. "What are you saying? That we surrender our sovereignty to a species we discovered only 3 years ago?" "I'm saying we have no choice," Vex Thul replied. "Our combined fleet represented the military might of 12 different civilizations. They destroyed us without taking a single casualty. Their technology is centuries beyond ours. Their tactics are flawless. And worst of all, they've been watching us for 20 years. The revelation struck the assembly like a physical blow. The humans had not only been aware of galactic civilization for far longer than anyone had suspected, but they had been studying it, learning from it, and preparing to defend against it. Dr. Nakamura's image appeared on the chamber's communication system, transmitted from Earth with technology that bypassed every security protocol the Council possessed. "Honored representatives of the Galactic Council, I am Dr. Elizabeth Nakamura, speaking on behalf of humanity." The alien representative stared at the human scientist in a mixture of fear and awe. She appeared completely calm, standing in what looked like a normal research laboratory, but her presence in their most secure facility demonstrated technological capabilities that made their security meaningless. "We intercepted your emergency session," Dr. Nakamura continued. We thought it was time to clarify humanity's position regarding galactic civilization. High Chancellor Mordeth found his voice. Dr. Nakamura, surely we can reach some form of understanding. The attack on your world was based on incomplete information. We had no idea of your true capabilities. You had no idea because you never asked, the human scientist replied. You observed us from a distance, made assumptions based on what you wanted to see, and then decided to attack based on those assumptions. This reveals something fundamental about galactic civilization that we find deeply disturbing. Ambassador Kelthar leaned forward. What do you mean? Dr. Nakamura's expression remained neutral, but her words carried the weight of absolute authority. You represent 12 different species that have conquered 47 worlds by overwhelming primitive civilizations with superior technology. Not once in your recorded history has any of your species attempted to communicate with a target civilization as equals. You see technological advancement, and you attack. You see apparent weakness, and you exploit it. This is not civilization. This is sophisticated barbarism. The council chamber erupted in angry protests, but Dr. Nakamura continued without raising her voice. Humanity has reached a decision regarding our relationship with the galaxy. We will not join your council. We will not submit to your authority. We will not allow you to continue your pattern of conquest and exploitation. Science Admiral Nexpre's damaged voice system crackled. What are you proposing? We're not proposing anything, Admiral Chen said as her image joined Dr. Nakamura's on the screen. We're informing you of new galactic law. Any species that attacks a primitive civilization will answer to humanity. Any species that enslaves another will face human intervention. Any species that refuses to change its conquest-based expansion will be forcibly reformed. The implications struck every representative simultaneously. Humanity wasn't just defending Earth, they were claiming authority over the entire galaxy's behavior. You can't seriously expect 12 advanced civilizations to submit to the authority of a single species, High Chancellor Mordeth protested. Admiral Chen's smile was cold and absolute. Chancellor, you attacked us with 300 ships representing the combined military might of those 12 civilizations. We defeated you without losing a single vessel or taking a single casualty. We didn't submit to your authority when you thought you were stronger than us. Why would you expect us to negotiate now that we've proven we're stronger than you? Commander Vexithul spoke up from the assembly floor. What she's saying is correct. We have no leverage, no technology they fear, no weapons they can't defeat, no defenses they can't penetrate. They're not making threats. They're stating facts. The human admiral nodded. Commander Vexthul understands the situation clearly. Galactic civilization has operated under the principle that technological superiority grants absolute authority. We're not changing that principle. We're simply demonstrating that humanity now holds that technological superiority. Dr. Nakamura brought up holographic displays showing star maps across the galaxy. We've already established monitoring stations in 47 systems. We know where your fleets are located, what your capabilities are, and what your intentions are toward less advanced civilizations. The age of conquest is over. The monitoring stations appeared on the alien sensors as impossible energy signatures in locations where no ships should have been able to travel. The humans had not only established a galactic surveillance network without anyone detecting it, but they had done so using technology that operated beyond any known principles of physics. Your species will adapt to coexistence with others, or you will be adapted by us, Admiral Chen announced. The choice is yours. But understand this. The galaxy now has guardians, and we take our responsibilities very seriously. Ambassador Kelthar raised a trembling appendage. What about our existing territories? Our established colonies? Colonies established through voluntary cooperation and mutual benefit will be respected, Dr. Nakamura replied. Territories taken by force and maintained through oppression will be liberated. We suggest you begin the process of transitioning from conquest-based expansion to cooperation-based development immediately. High Chancellor Mordeth struggled with the new reality. And if we refuse? The answer came from a voice none of them recognized. Staff Sergeant Maria Rodriguez appeared on screen from what looked like the bridge of a massive human warship. Sir, with respect, refusal isn't really an option anymore. We've been watching your civilizations for 20 years. We know which worlds were taken by force, which populations are being oppressed, and which species are planning additional conquests. The only choice you have is whether you change voluntarily or whether we change you. The camera angle shifted to show the bridge around her, revealing technology that made even the most advanced alien equipment look like primitive tools. Human crew members worked at stations that seemed to control systems the aliens couldn't even identify, much less understand. The Galactic Age of Conquest is over, Admiral Chen announced with finality. The Galactic Age of Cooperation begins now. Welcome to the new reality, where humanity doesn't just participate in galactic civilization, we define it. The transmission ended, leaving the alien representatives staring at empty screens and contemplating a future where the species they had dismissed as primitive now held absolute authority over everything they had once controlled. The mockery had ended with galactic transformation. The laughter had become submission, and humanity had established itself as the guardians of a galaxy that would never again mistake apparent weakness for actual vulnerability. The age of human galactic dominance had begun, not through conquest, but through the simple demonstration that when humans appear harmless, it's because they choose to appear harmless. And that choice can be revoked at any time. The first alien casualty occurred exactly 47 seconds after Commander Vexthul's ultimatum expired. The Zephyrian destroyer, Stellar Dominance, simply ceased to exist, its shields collapsing under an energy beam that registered readings beyond anything in their databases. Captain Zorthek of the surviving Zephyrian cruiser stared at his tactical display in disbelief. How is this possible? Our shields were designed to withstand anything short of a stellar explosion. The answer came from Earth's lead scientist, Dr. Elizabeth Nakamura, broadcasting on all frequencies from what the aliens had assumed was a primitive research facility. You've been studying our technology for 3 years, haven't you? What you didn't realize is that we've been studying yours for 20. Human ships that had appeared crude and boxy suddenly revealed their true nature. Armor plating slid away to expose weapon systems that seemed to bend light itself. The primitive vessels moved with impossible grace, their engines producing no detectable exhaust, yet accelerating beyond what alien physics models suggested was possible. General Korthak's voice cracked across the alien command frequency. All units, regroup. Their technology appears to be... He paused as another Mantis Confederation destroyer exploded in silent fury. Advanced beyond our current understanding. The human response was coordinated with mechanical precision. Ships that had been positioned like sitting ducks suddenly revealed they had been placed at optimal firing positions all along. What had appeared to be defensive formations was actually an intricate trap that had taken years to prepare. Admiral Sarah Chen's image appeared on every alien vessel's communication system. Her uniform was crisp, her expression calm, but her eyes held the cold fire of someone who had been preparing for war her entire life. You came here expecting to find frightened primitives. Instead, you found humans. Let me explain the difference. The explanation came in the form of human Marines teleporting directly onto alien command ships. The aliens had dismissed human armor as primitive metal and ceramic, never suspecting that the bulky appearance concealed personal shield generators and weapons systems that could function in ways that violated several known laws of physics. Commander Vexathul found himself facing a human soldier in the corridor of his own flagship. The Marine's armor was scarred and battle-worn, but the energy readings coming from her weapons made his exoskeleton's sensors scream warnings. "Impossible," Vexthul gasped. "Humans don't have teleportation technology. Our scans showed no quantum displacement capabilities." Staff Sergeant Maria Rodriguez smiled grimly inside her helmet. "Your scans showed exactly what we wanted them to show. We've had quantum displacement for 15 years. We've had energy shields for 12. We've had faster-than-light travel for 8. She raised her weapon, its barrel glowing with contained fusion energy. "What we've had for our entire history is something you aliens seem to have forgotten. We've had war. The alien fleets discovered that human projectile weapons were not the primitive chemical-propelled bullets they had assumed. The projectiles were quantum-accelerated penetrators that phased through energy shields like they didn't exist before exploding with the force of miniature supernovas." Captain Yilthar's serpentine form coiled in terror as her ship's hull began to buckle under sustained fire from what had appeared to be an obsolete human cruiser. "Their weapons are penetrating our molecular cohesion fields. This is impossible." The impossible became routine as human forces demonstrated technology that seemed to work on principles the aliens had never encountered. Ships moved through space without visible propulsion. Weapons fired energy that couldn't be detected until it struck its target. And human soldiers seemed to anticipate alien tactics before they were even implemented. Dr. Nakamura's voice continued to broadcast as alien fleet formations crumbled. "You see, we've been studying not just your technology, but your psychology. We know how you think, how you fight, how you make tactical decisions. We've run 1,000,000 simulations of this exact battle." The truth was even more devastating than the aliens could have imagined. Humanity hadn't just been hiding their technological advancement. They had been deliberately feeding false information to alien scouts for decades. Every piece of intelligence the Galactic Council possessed about human capabilities was carefully crafted deception. Science Admiral Nexapre's mechanical voice trembled with something approaching panic as he analyzed incoming data. "Command, the humans aren't just using advanced technology. They're using our own weapons against us, somehow improved beyond our original specifications." The Silicon Collective's flagship found itself under attack by projectiles that matched their own energy signatures. The humans had not only captured and reverse-engineered alien technology, they had improved it, enhanced it, and turned it into something more lethal than the original creators had ever imagined possible. Human engineers had spent 2 decades taking apart every piece of alien technology they could acquire, studying it, understanding it, and then making it better. What the aliens considered cutting-edge science, humans had already surpassed and weaponized. General Chen's tactical display showed the alien fleet in full retreat, but she wasn't finished with her lesson. "You made one critical error in your assessment of humanity. You assumed that because we appeared primitive, we were primitive. You confused deliberate deception with actual limitation." The revelation continued to unfold as human forces pressed their advantage. Weapons platforms that had been hidden on asteroids throughout the solar system came online, revealing that Earth's defenses extended far beyond what alien scouts had detected. The entire solar system had been turned into a fortress without the aliens ever realizing it. Commander Vexthul, now a prisoner on his own ship, faced Admiral Chen directly as she materialized in his command center through quantum teleportation. "You deliberately allowed us to believe you were helpless," he said, his voice filled with something between admiration and horror. "We allowed you to believe what you wanted to believe," Chen replied. "You saw metal armor and assumed it was primitive. You saw projectile weapons and assumed they were outdated. You saw our ships and assumed they were inferior. Every assumption was wrong because you never bothered to look deeper." The human admiral gestured toward the tactical display showing the retreating alien fleet. Your species conquered 47 worlds by being technologically superior to primitive civilizations. But you never learned to fight against an enemy that might be smarter than you are. The aliens began to understand the scope of their miscalculation as human forces demonstrated capabilities that surpassed even their most advanced civilizations. Humans hadn't just matched alien technology. They had leapfrogged it entirely, using their talent for innovation and adaptation to create weapons and defenses that no alien species had ever conceived. The retreat turned into a rout as human ships demonstrated speed and maneuverability that made alien vessels look like they were standing still. The same humans who had appeared to struggle with basic faster-than-light travel were now moving through space in ways that seemed to ignore several fundamental laws of physics. Dr. Nakamura's final broadcast to the fleeing alien fleet carried a warning that would echo across the galaxy. You came here to subjugate humanity because you believed we were weak. You learned too late that we were never weak. We were just waiting for you to make the first move. Now you know why humans don't lose wars. We don't fight them. We end them. As the last alien vessel limped out of the solar system, its crew traumatized and its technology obsolete compared to what humanity had revealed, a new reality settled across the galaxy. The species that had been dismissed as primitive had just demonstrated technological and tactical superiority that no alien civilization could match. The mockery had turned to fear. The laughter had become screams. And humanity had just announced its presence on the galactic stage in the most definitive way possible, by winning a war that everyone believed they couldn't possibly survive. The Zephyrian High Command's war room buzzed with arrogant laughter as holographic displays showed Earth's military formations. Commander Vexthul, his crystalline exoskeleton gleaming under the artificial lights, gestured dismissively at the human soldiers marching across the screens. "Look at them," he sneered, his voice echoing through the chamber filled with representatives from 12 different alien species. These primitive mammals still march in formations like ancient warriors. No energy shields, no plasma weaponry, no molecular disruptors. They carry metal tubes that fire tiny projectiles. The assembled alien commanders erupted in another wave of mockery. General Korthak of the Mantis Confederation clicked his mandibles in amusement. "Their armor appears to be made of simple ceramics and metals. Our lowest-grade energy weapons could pierce through their protection like it was paper." Captain Yilthar from the Serpentine Empire slithered closer to the display, her scales shifting colors in amusement. "Intelligence reports suggest they still use chemical propellants for their weapons. How quaint. Our ancestors abandoned such primitive technology millennia ago." The laughter grew louder when the display showed human soldiers eating what appeared to be compressed rations from small packages. "They even consume processed waste matter," observed Science Admiral Nexpre of the Silicon Collective, his mechanical voice dripping with disdain. "No wonder their physical capabilities seem so limited." Commander Vexthul raised one of his 4 arms for silence. "The Galactic Council has voted. Earth's resistance to our expansion protocols ends now. Their refusal to surrender their mining rights and submit to proper governance has forced our hand. We shall demonstrate the futility of opposing advanced civilization." The war room's massive central display shifted to show the human homeworld, a blue-green marble spinning peacefully in space. Orbital scans revealed military installations, cities, and what the aliens dismissed as laughably inadequate defensive systems. "Our preliminary scouts report that humans have barely achieved fusion technology," continued Vexthul. "Their fastest ships require months to travel between planets in their own system. They have no energy shields, no faster-than-light communication, and no quantum weaponry. This will be less of a war and more of a pest extermination." The alien fleet assembled outside Earth's solar system was truly magnificent by any civilized standard. 300 vessels of varying sizes, each one bristling with weapons that could crack continents. Energy shields shimmered around their hulls like soap bubbles made of pure force. Their fastest scouts could cross star systems in hours. Admiral Korthak pulled up tactical displays showing the human fleet. 27 vessels in total, including cargo ships they've apparently converted for military use. Their largest ship is barely 1/10 the size of our smallest destroyer. This is almost insulting to our capabilities. The assembled commanders watched as Earth's pathetic fleet took defensive positions around their planet. The human ships looked like metal boxes with engines attached, crude and angular where alien vessels were smooth and graceful. "Notice how they position themselves in straight lines," laughed Captain Yilthar. "No dynamic formation protocols, no quantum positioning systems. They're arranging themselves like targets in a shooting gallery." What the aliens didn't know was that every word of their communications was being intercepted by human listening posts scattered throughout the outer system. Earth's military leaders sat in their own command centers, watching alien transmissions with grim determination. General Sarah Chen stood before the assembled Joint Chiefs in the Pentagon's deepest bunker. Unlike the aliens who mocked them, her face showed no amusement, only cold calculation. "Gentlemen, ladies, they think we're primitive. They think we're weak. They're about to learn why that's the biggest mistake they could possibly make." The human military had spent decades preparing for this moment ever since the first alien scout ships had been detected at the edge of the solar system. Every piece of seemingly primitive equipment, every apparently outdated tactic, every visible weakness had been carefully planned and positioned. "Phase 1 of Operation Trojan Horse is now in effect," announced General Chen. "All units, maintain the illusion. Let them see exactly what we want them to see." Across Earth's surface, military installations that had been deliberately designed to look primitive and vulnerable hummed with hidden activity. Underground factories that had been concealed for 20 years began their final production runs. Weapon systems that didn't appear on any alien scan powered up in silence. The aliens continued their approach, confident in their technological superiority. Their energy weapons had never met anything they couldn't destroy. Their shields had never been penetrated by primitive projectile weapons. Their tactics had conquered 47 different worlds without a single significant defeat. Commander Vex Thul opened a communication channel to Earth, his image appearing on screens around the planet. "Humans of Earth, I am Commander Vex Thul of the Galactic Council's enforcement fleet. Your primitive civilization has refused our generous offer to join the galactic community under proper supervision. You have 3 of your planetary rotations to surrender unconditionally. Comply, and your species will be relocated to suitable agricultural worlds where you can serve a purpose. Resist, and you will be eliminated as an obstacle to galactic progress." The response came not from Earth's leaders, but from a young human soldier standing guard at what appeared to be a simple concrete bunker. He looked directly into the camera, smiled, and said just 2 words that would echo across the galaxy. "Come try." The alien fleet detected massive energy signatures as human installations across the planet suddenly came online. But these weren't the primitive facilities they had been observing. Underground launch sites opened to reveal weapons systems that made alien commanders suddenly stop laughing. "What are those energy readings?" demanded Admiral Korthak, his mandibles clicking nervously as his sensors registered power outputs that shouldn't have been possible for a primitive civilization. The first hint of what humanity had been hiding came when Earth's converted cargo ships suddenly dropped their outer hulls like shed skin, revealing sleek vessels bristling with weapons that registered as completely unknown technology on alien sensors. Captain Yilthar's scales shifted to warning colors. "Commander, those ships, they're not what they appeared to be. Our sensors are detecting energy signatures that match our own military-grade systems." But it was too late for the aliens to reconsider their approach. They had committed their fleet to an attack based on flawed intelligence and overwhelming arrogance. The humans had been watching, learning, and preparing for this moment since the first alien transmission had been intercepted. General Chen's voice echoed across every human military frequency. All units, drop the masquerade. Show them what humanity really looks like when we stop pretending to be harmless. The aliens were about to discover that humans hadn't been primitive for a very long time. They had simply been very, very good at appearing harmless while they prepared for war. The greatest military minds in human history had spent decades studying alien technology, tactics, and psychology, preparing for this exact confrontation. The mockery was about to end. The real war was about to begin. As alien sensors finally began detecting the true scope of human military capability, Commander Vex Thul realized they might have made a terrible miscalculation. But by then, the human fleet was already moving into attack positions that demonstrated tactical knowledge the aliens had never expected from a primitive species. The last thing the alien commanders heard before their communications went dead was a human voice, calm and deadly serious. "You wanted to see what humans are capable of. Class is now in session.